House Mornard needs adventurers! Who's got the sand for the job? Why, it's you! I should have known you'd turn up on Galen. Good timing. We have plenty of trouble to go around today. I took a post as mage for hire to Count Mornard, but he needs all the help he can get. And he pays well for it. The usual. Well, more than that. Galen's beset by sea elf pirates. But these aren't the usual isolated raids. House Mornard's defending the Isle as best they can, but their knights are stretched thin, and the druids are too distracted to lend a hand. Some quarrel among the circles. Never seen the druids so at odds before. But if you're willing to help, go talk to the Count's son, Sir Stefan. He's just outside Vastir, leading the effort to drive off the sea elves. What do you say, sailor? Sir Stefan is outside Vastir with Lord Baccaro, the leader of the Society of the Steadfast. Which reminds me, I've got the healing herbs he asked for. Give these to Lord Baccaro, mate. Now I'm off. Got sea elf raiders near Windrak Fort to deal with. The sea elves? Haven't spent much time in these waters, eh? The technical term is Maormer, but nobody actually calls them that. They're bloodthirsty raiders from the great isle of Pyandania. We usually see a ship or two, but this bunch have a fleet. A huge one. Call themselves the Dreadsails. They're a vicious band of pirates that have been causing trouble in the archipelago for some time, but no one realized how large their fleet was. Now they seem more intent on conquest than pillaging. That would be Sea Lord Nalos. He recruits sea elf captains and offers them a place in the Dreadsails fleet. If I didn't know better, I'd say he was trying to create his own sea elf kingdom far from Pyandania. Could explain our current problems. The druids of the Sisters Archipelago are divided into 3 circles: the Stone Lore, the Elder Tide, and the Fire Song. Usually they get along, or at least leave each other in peace. Lately, not so much. I know, mate. I was there. The Fire Songs say they don't know anything about Archdruid Michiel's travels and didn't approve his actions. I don't believe them. Neither do the Stone Lore or the Elder Tide. Aye, they've been spending time at Glimmertarn, a Stone Lore village to the north. Laurel has also been scouting for sea elf incursions. Free rarely leaves her side. You wouldn't believe how Free has grown. Matured? Not sure how to describe it. Aye, Druid Laurel told me about that. The Stone Lore were shocked. Down through the years, there have been arguments that turned violent, but nothing like a full-fledged war among the circles. At least you stopped them from getting the Stone Lore seed. Hidden it somewhere, or so Laurel tells me. But she and the rest of the Stone Lore are baffled. The seeds are just symbols. They don't know why Archdruid Devirik was ready to kill to get his hands on it. The Elder Tide resent the Breton noble houses. All outsiders, really. They believe islands belong to the Druids, and some of them act on that belief. But we've got something of a truce with them on Galen. Turns out sea elves are everyone's problem. Druid Laurel thinks it's got something to do with an old prophecy. The Eldertide blame the sea elves, and the Firesong refuse to explain themselves to anyone. So, your guess is as good as anyone's, mate. After our last adventure together, I wanted to do more to help Druid Laurel with her exploration of Druid history. I came back here to dust off some old books, ask a few questions. After all, Galen's like a second home to me. Remember how I mentioned that shipwreck years ago? When the Stone Lord Druids rescued me and took me in, taught me to see the world in a new way? That was here on Galen. I set aside my cutlass for magic, but lately, I've needed both blade and staff. Count Mornard sent word to the Mages Guild that he wanted to hire a battle mage. I was already here, so the guild sent me. Not the first time I've sold my sword, or my staff. I advise the Count, and get my hands dirty when I need to.
The Steadfast are here to aid those harmed by the Sea Elf attacks. I have no knights to lend you, Count Bernard, Sir Stefan.
We'll have to handle the Sea Elves ourselves, then. I don't know what's keeping the Druids.
You place too much trust in those ivy-robed beggars, Stefan.
Well, if it isn't Lady Arabelle's talented assistant, I might have guessed that Galen's troubles would draw you here. What can I do for you, my friend? Ah, thank you. We're short-handed, and I haven't had anyone to send for these. As you can see, the fighting on Galen has caused no end of suffering. And most of the victims are simple farmers and townsfolk, not soldiers. Damn those Sea Elf pirates! For the most part, there have been some incidents among the Druid circles, too, but the Sea Elves are definitely the biggest threat. Talk to Sir Stefan Mornard. I'm sure he can find a use for someone with your obvious talents. Young Sir Stefan is over there with his father, Count Mornard. They will readily accept any assistance you're willing to offer. Now, if you'll excuse me, the Society of the Steadfast's work is never done. The Mornards are neighbors, so to speak. Count Leonard sent word to me about Galen's troubles with the Sea Elves. I have many responsibilities on High Isle, but still, I had to help an old friend. I am trying to be in two places at the same time as best I can. It involves frequent voyages from Vastir to Gonfalon Bay. Fortunately, I can trust Lady Arabelle to look after the Alliance leaders when I must be absent.
Well met, adventurer. If you're looking for work, I need all the help I can get. Sea Elf raids are nothing new on Galen, but never have they attacked in such numbers. The whole southeast shore is under siege. I'm not sure. Most Sea Elves are pirates. Easy plunder is what they're usually after. But the Dreadsails are more determined than any Maormer I've seen before. Whatever their goal, we must push them back. Hand me your map. I've received reports of Dreadsails near Windrack Fort, the village of Tuin and Suncleft Cove. I need you to investigate these sightings and chase off any Sea Elves you find. Let them know Galen won't go down without a fight. Not as ready as I would like, friend. We don't have enough knights to protect the whole island, but I need information even more than I need soldiers. Find out what the Dreadsails really want, if you can, and where they plan to strike next. All 3 locations I need you to investigate lie to the east. Chase away any Sea Elves you find at the fort and the village, and see if you can figure out what they're up to at the cove. Report back to me in Vastir when you're done. Time is pressing, but I suppose it's only prudent to find out something about what you're getting into. Which location are you curious about? Well, it's an old fort, built on Windrack Point centuries ago to protect Vastir against attacks from the east. It's not in good repair, but we garrison it as strongly as we can. Yet perhaps not strongly enough. Anything else? Until today, I would have said Suncleft Cove wasn't important at all. It's a pretty enough spot, but there are certainly better places for the Dreadsails to land raiders. I can't imagine what the Sea Elves want there. Is that all? Tuin? It's an Eldertide settlement. They have little love for House Mornard, but they like Sea Elves even less. I expected them to put up a stout defense against the Dreadsails, but we haven't heard from them in quite some time. Any more questions? Until today, I would have said Suncleft Cove wasn't important at all. It's a pretty enough spot, but there are certainly better places for the Dreadsails to land raiders. I can't imagine what the Sea Elves want there. Is that all? Well, it's an old fort, built on Windrack Point centuries ago to protect Vastir against attacks from the east. It's not in good repair, but we garrison it as strongly as we can. Yet perhaps not strongly enough. Anything else? I leave that to you. With luck, you'll find allies at the fort or village. But whatever you do, go swiftly. If we fail to meet the Sea Elf threat now, it's only a matter of time before we see them at the walls of Vastir. Galen may claim to be a Breton holding, but the Druids have lived here for centuries. Some of them don't like city folk, but they certainly defend the coast from pirates. Especially the Eldertide Circle. It's not like them to avoid a fight. One of the 3 circles of Druids in the archipelago. The Eldertide live by the coast and dislike outsiders. The Firesong are recluses, keeping to old places of power. Then there's the Stone Lore. I studied with them when I was young. With the Druids and with a knightly order, I suppose you could say I had a well-rounded sister's education. If you're interested, I'll tell you more about it later. Right now, I need you to check out those locations. My apologies. In all the excitement, I forgot to introduce myself. I am Sir Stephen Mornard, and this is my father, Count Leonard Mornard. Our house has the honor of governing the Isle of Galen for our liege, High King Emeric. John is my cousin. He holds title to the Mornard estates on High Isle for my father, and manages many of our mercantile concerns there. But my father, the Count, is the patriarch of House Mornard. It might be more accurate to say he governs Vastir and the lands surrounding the city. The northern half of Galen is mostly wilderness. Quite a few druids live there, but they look after their own affairs.
Tired of walking anyway.
over here, mate. I thought I might see you here. Looks like a band of sea elves got ashore and seized the fort. Now, more of those sea dogs are on their way. I was hoping for some druid help, but they never arrived. So it's up to us. I spotted more sea elf warships brimming with reinforcements. Luckily, the fort's ballistas are intact. Get to the ballistas and stop those ships. That will give us time to deal with the enemies who already made it to shore. I'll see if I can rally the knights and get the wounded back on their feet. We'll need them to hold the fort once you stop the reinforcements from reaching the shore. Meet me on the bluffs north of the fort when you're done. Take a right when you get into the fort. There's a path that leads down to the docks. You'll find the ballistas there. My guess is the Dreadsail ships will flee at the first sign of resistance. They won't risk their ships to ballista strikes. The Sea Elves? Haven't spent much time in these waters, eh? The technical term is Maormer, but nobody actually calls them that. They're bloodthirsty raiders from the great isle of Piandania. We usually see a ship or two, but this bunch have a fleet. A huge one. Call themselves the Dreadsails. They're a vicious band of pirates that have been causing trouble in the archipelago for some time. But no one realized how large their fleet was. Now they seem more intent on conquest than pillaging. That would be Sea Lord Nalos. He recruits sea elf captains and offers them a place in the Dreadsail's fleet. If I didn't know better, I'd say he was trying to create his own sea elf kingdom far from Piandania. Could explain our current problems. The druids of the Sisters Archipelago are divided into 3 circles: the Stone Lore, the Elder Tide, and the Fire Song. Usually they get along, or at least leave each other in peace. Lately, not so much. The Elder Tide resent the Breton noble houses. All outsiders, really. They believe islands belong to the druids, and some of them act on that belief. But we've got something of a truce with them on Galen. Turns out sea elves are everyone's problem. Druid Laurel thinks it's got something to do with an old prophecy. The Elder Tide blame the sea elves, and the Fire Song refuse to explain themselves to anyone. So, your guess is as good as anyone's, mate.
You know, I like to think I'm agreeable. I don't want to hurt you, but now I'm going to. Fight now. Traveling with you isn't a tour, it's a tale.
Nice work, mate. Your aim was impeccable. Well done. These dreadsails may be fierce, but they lack loyalty. Even though they've got numbers on their side, they won't stick their necks out for their mates. That's something we can use against them. You've done your part. We can deal with the stragglers around Winrack Fort, now that they've got no reinforcements coming to support them. Your work's just beginning, though, mate. I fear the seas ahead will be rough for all of us. Word is, the Sea Elves struck there as well. It's just up the coast to the north. I believe Druid Laurel of the Stone Lore Circle is there, looking into things. I'd appreciate it if you kept an eye on her, mate. Laurel is like kin to me. Laurel found me half-drowned after a shipwreck 10 years back. She was just a girl then, but she had the sense to fetch help. Which is how I came to know the Stone Lore Druids. She's been a friend ever since. Aye, I heard that too. Something about sea elves taking prisoners into a cave near the cove. Strange. If the Dreadsails took captives, why haven't they tried to ransom them yet? Banneret Korik went to investigate. Help him if you can. Word is, the Sea Elves struck there as well. It's just up the coast to the north. I believe Druid Laurel of the Stone Lore Circle is there, looking into things. I'd appreciate it if you kept an eye on her, mate. Laurel is like kin to me.
Light, what a slaughter. I didn't expect to see you again so soon, friend. But I never refuse the gifts that Ifrey is willing to give me. I came to help the Eldertide Druids, but I was too late. This battle is already lost, Blight take it. Sir Stefan's a dear friend of mine and practically a druid himself. We studied together under Archdruid Raval when we were younger. It's not unlike him to worry about the druids, even the Eldertide. The Dread Sales happened, but it makes no sense. The Eldertide have no riches. Druids don't care about such things, and they command formidable magic. What pirate attacks a target that can fight back for no obvious profit? Druids choose their own paths. The Eldertide of High Isle are bitter, resentful. But as long as the Mornards don't push into Druid territory, the Eldertide of Galen are content to live in peace. It was foolish of the Dreadsales to provoke them. That's strange. It makes me wonder what the Sea Elves really hope to gain by these attacks. Let's look around. Watch for anything that looks interesting or out of place. With any luck, we can figure out why the Sea Elves attacked Tuin. A lore keeper? What relic could they be searching for? Ember blooms? The Fire Song used them to cast certain spells. Are they involved in this too?
Finders keepers, as they say.
The candles are still burning. The Eldertide druids who tend this altar have not... Let's take a look in the lodge. There might be something about the relic there. Archdruid Orlaith, what are you doing here?
Archdruid Raval was right to call the Dreyfa together. Tell him the fire song will attend. The time has come to gather the seeds. The prophecy of the Druid King is at hand.
The seeds? Is that what this... Oh, Blight. She's gone. Friend, we should talk. Root and rot! That was Archdruid Orlaith, leader of the Fire Song Circle. I think I know what really happened here, and I don't like it at all. The relic the Dreadsails sought is the sacred seed of the Eldertide, a gift of the last Druid King. Each circle was granted one. That's what Archdruid Orlaith meant by gathering seeds. Could she be the druid mentioned in the Dreadsails' orders? I thought Devirik and Mishiel were Fire Song renegades, acting of their own accord. But the orders we found, and what Orlaith just said, the Fire Song want all the sacred seeds. Archdruid Orlaith leads the Fire Song. This is her doing. Not as far as I know. The seeds are mentioned in the dream of Cassarain, the prophecy of the last Druid King. The Fire Song seem to believe its time has come. The other circles, not so much. Perhaps the Dreyfa can make sense of all this. A council of druids, elders from all three circles. Archdruid Raval of the Stone Lore has summoned the Dreyfa to address grievances against the Fire Song. But up till now, Orlaith ignored him. Tell Stefan about this. Pirates aren't his only problem.
Single sea elf bested the lot of you?
She hit us like a storm of steel. Didn't kill anyone, though.
Can you believe this? I came to check on my knights when I found them indisposed. House Mornard's finest. Pah! Now, who are you? My knights tracked a band of dreadsails to the cave here at Suncleft Cove. As they tell it, however, a single sea elf tore through them before they could search inside. Didn't even bother to kill them. Just knocked them senseless and left them here. Right, that was in my report. Since Sir Stefan sent you, I could use your help. Scout the cave. We have to find the prisoners and free them. I'll follow once my knights recover. Just watch out. The sea elf who beat them is somewhere inside. Remember, we think the Dreadsails have prisoners in there. Maybe some knights, but certainly druids from the nearby village. Find them if you can and set them free. We'll join you as soon as my knights recover their senses. Nothing good, that's for certain. They're pirates, slavers, murderers, thieves. In my experience, the only good sea elf is a dead sea elf. These Dreadsails, though. They're the worst of their kind. Nothing like this. Isolated raids, some pillaging. They were pirates before, but now they act like a conquering army. Watch out for the one that knocked my knights senseless. She must be quite a fighter to defeat them without spilling any blood. Coric's the name. Banneret in the service of House Mornard. My family has proudly served the lords of Galen for generations. I'll bring these murderous sea elves to battle and defeat them, or die in attempt. I'm not familiar with knightly ranks. Do they do things differently on the mainland? A banneret is the equivalent of a captain in my order. A knight who commands other knights. Looks like I've got some work to do with these louts, though.
This one has the information I seek. We simply need to extract it from her. I'll take her with me to the keep. Dispose of the rest as you wish. Do not tarry long.
No, please! Don't hurt them! You only need me!
Sluck, you and your Sea Lord aren't fit to call yourselves
Stay
mariner.
your hand, stranger! This sea elf saved our lives.
I told the fool knights outside I wasn't their enemy. Do you have more sense than them? You're willing to talk. At least you're smarter than those knights outside. I suppose Sea Lord Nalos and his scum have taught the people of this island to fear anyone with blue skin. Understand this. I don't answer to that foul beast. Captain Siravane of the Gilded Blades. You'd call me a pirate, I suppose? But I'm not one of Sea Lord Nalos' traitors, and I'm not involved in all this druid foolishness. You look confused. Must be from the continent. Yes, I'm a mariner. Well, they're not captives anymore, and you and I need not be enemies. Sea Lord Nalos is my quarry, for reasons of my own. But I'll tell you this much, mercenary. Nalos seeks some sort of druid relic. Calls it a sacred seed. I'm not sure. That slimy eel escaped and he took one of the druids with him. Probably thinks she can take him to that seed. No matter. I'll find him. Warn your allies about the Sea Lord, mercenary. Galen isn't safe while he lives.
The sea elf escaped. Too bad. At least we can get these druids to safety. We'll handle things from here. Return to Vastir and report to Sir Stefan when you're ready.
Nothing wrong with a little opportunistic harvesting. Nice hole.
These sea elf pirates become more brazen every day. When is House Mornard going to do something?
You know, House Dufort never has these problems on High Isle.
That's not entirely true. There are those incidents with the Ascendant Order.
Contest begins, our vessel rocks.
The death of Princess Lacana was so tragic, but we appreciate your efforts to save her.
Your people are in as much danger as everyone else, Galfin. Sea elves make no distinctions when it comes to staging raids.
I didn't say we weren't, Dame Theta.
But the Stone Lord can fend for themselves. We always have.
I'm simply suggesting that you bring your people into the city. The Vine District has enough room for more druids.
Well?
Ah, here's our mate now.
Bringing a book for travel is well worth the pack space. Shame they're so heavy.
Welcome to Castle Monard, mercenary. Make your report to Stefan. He's been eager to hear from you.
Count Leonard set his son a challenging task by placing Galen's defenses in his hands. Still, bringing you into his confidence shows a remarkable insight for someone of his age and experience.
Well met, friend. Dulef tells me you handled yourself well at Windrak Fort. Now, what news of the other two locations? Laurel seemed troubled when she returned, but she went to find Archdruid Reval before I could speak to her. A good thing I sent you to Tuin, then. The Eldertide rarely need or want our help, but I'm glad we could provide it. Still, why would the Dreadsails take prisoners to the Cove? When Sea Elves take captives, they usually sail off and demand ransom. The Dreadsails are working with a druid of the Firesong Circle? The Firesong usually have nothing to do with outsiders, let alone Sea Elf pirates. What madness! A war among the circles is the last thing Galen needs right now. I've been invited to observe the Dreyfa. I'd like you to tag along. Find Laurel in the Vine District here in the city. If she agrees, you can join us. The Vine District lies on the east side of the city near the harbor. It's a small druid conclave. I'll join you there shortly. I need to confer with my father and send scouts to search for Sea Lord Nalos while we attend the Dreyfa. I may be the son of Count Mornard, but I studied for years with the Stonelore Circle. I hold druid beliefs in high regard. In fact, I share many of them, which is unusual for those not dedicated to their ranks. In return, the druids trust me. Like most nobles, my father pays little attention to the druids. When he must speak with the circles, he summons emissaries to Vestir. The Dreyfa is a meeting of druid leaders. Outsiders are rarely permitted, but they consider me almost a druid. The Eldertide Circle has no love of outsiders. If they had their way, we'd get back into our ships and return to High Rock. The Circle here on Galen is more forgiving than the Eldertide on High Isle, but they still don't fully trust us. Yes, I'm aware. Probably has more to do with how developed High Isle has become as compared to Galen. Here, we mainly stick to our corner of the island and give the druids free reign over the rest of it. The Stonelore are content to live alongside people who don't share their beliefs. They hope to set an example for others to follow, but they make no demands. As for the Firesong, they're reclusive. They usually stick to their isle and ignore us. My father's knights protect the city, and the harbor is well fortified. Besides, I think you chased away the Dreadsails for now. Our scouts report they're nowhere to be seen. But if you're concerned for my safety, don't be. I can fend for myself. The Eldertide Circle has no love of outsiders. If they had their way, we'd get back into our ships and return to High Rock. The Circle here on Galen is more forgiving than the Eldertide on High Isle, but they still don't fully trust us. The Stonelore are content to live alongside people who don't share their beliefs. They hope to set an example for others to follow, but they make no demands. As for the Firesong, they're reclusive. They usually stick to their isle and ignore us. My father's knights protect the city, and the harbor is well fortified. Besides, I think you chased away the Dreadsails for now. Our scouts report they're nowhere to be seen. But if you're concerned for my safety, don't be. I can fend for myself. I may be the son of Count Mornard, but I studied for years with the Stonelore Circle. I hold druid beliefs in high regard. In fact, I share many of them, which is unusual for those not dedicated to their ranks. In return, the druids trust me. Like most nobles, my father pays little attention to the druids. When he must speak with the circles, he summons emissaries to Vestir. The Dreyfa is a meeting of druid leaders. Outsiders are rarely permitted, but they consider me almost a druid. My father's knights protect the city, and the harbor is well fortified. Besides, I think you chased away the Dreadsails for now. Our scouts report they're nowhere to be seen. But if you're concerned for my safety, don't be. I can fend for myself. I may be the son of Count Mornard, but I studied for years with the Stonelore Circle. I hold druid beliefs in high regard. In fact, I share many of them, which is unusual for those not dedicated to their ranks. In return, the druids trust me. Like most nobles, my father pays little attention to the druids. When he must speak with the circles, he summons emissaries to Vestir. The Dreyfa is a meeting of druid leaders. Outsiders are rarely permitted, but They consider me almost a druid.
That aroma, folks. That's the Chef Razi's guarantee. You there, Trevor. You look as adventurous as my taste buds. Care to help the greatest chef in Tamriel with an urgent task?
Oh, hello again. What brings you to the Vine District? I hoped to see you again, my friend. But I need to prepare for the Dreyfa. The Elders really must deal with the strife that has come between the circles. You know, that's not a bad idea. Few outsiders are permitted to attend the council meetings. But you can attest to what we saw at Tuin. The Firesong Circle is willing to use force to gather the 3 sacred seeds. And that's just wrong. The last Druid King gave 1 seed to each circle long ago. He also gave us a prophecy, the Dream of Kasserine. Some Druids consider it a warning, but Archdruid Orlaith and others believe it's a call to action. Meet me at the Telling Stone, the landmark near the center of the island. It would be easier to simply show you the prophecy, and it's close to Dreyfa Del. Besides, Free might be there. They will want to see you again. You can find the Telling Stone on a high ridge north of Vastir, at the very heart of Galen. The Dreyfa Del is close by.
Taking that aroma, folks. That's the Chef Razi's guarantee. You there, Trevor. You look as adventurous as my taste buds. Care to help the greatest...
I'd say he's been through recently, but that scent's known to linger.
Oh, I can't wait to write home about this. Darkness stirs. Roots tremble. Druids gather. I am the nourisher. The sower. Needed?
I don't think that's wise, Free. I don't trust the fire song.
Fire song. Pulsing, ripping, torn free from the ground.
Welcome to the Telling Stone, my friend. These runes tell the prophecy we call the Dream of Kasserine. Almost nothing survives from the time of the Druid King. But we have this. And now Free as well. You saw what Archdruid Michiel did to the Weirds. Druids who are ready to hurt others like that shouldn't get what they want. So I've been keeping Free safe. And helping them learn about people. They grow more every day. It's incredible. I probably know more about the Druid King than any other Druid alive, but so much remains a mystery. The Dream of Kasserine describes a mountain shaking and a sower awakening. I think it's talking about Mount Firesong and Free. So much has been lost, so I can only guess. Maybe Archdruid Orlaith believes the seeds must be united to make the prophecy come true? Until they end their violent ways, though, I plan to keep Free a secret. Let's go see what happened. The Dreyfa will begin soon. 3 Archdruids from each circle meet in a dell within the hills across the valley just to the south of here. We should make our way there. I don't want to miss anything. Someday a new Druid King will appear to take the Ivy Throne. Kasserine led our withdrawal from the mainland. But he also saw a day when Druids would once again take their place in Tamriel. For good or ill. The dream is a promise and a warning. Some Druids believe we're destined to bring a green renewal to Tamriel, to teach everyone to live in harmony with nature. Others fear a green scourge, when nature runs amok, and the tyranny of Druids takes hold. I think the dream is a metaphor. Kasserine was reminding us of where we came from. The day he describes will never come. But we should lead our lives as if it's close at hand. Make the right choices. Do the right things. That's how I see it. Hard to say. So much is open to interpretation. I think it warns of a usurper who claims the kingship by force and treachery. It may be related to the end of Cassarain's rule. I found one reference to an all-weather death cult active at that time. Cassarain was the last of the Druid kings. In an age long past, he led our people from High Rock to Galen. They hoped to find a land where Druids could live in peace and follow Ifre's teachings as they understood them. He chose no successor before he died. Instead, Cassarain recognized the three circles and told them to govern themselves, together, in peace. And so the Dreyfa, the Council of Druids, came into existence. The Dreyfa has guided us ever since. Someday a new Druid king will appear to take the Ivy throne. Cassarain led our withdrawal from the mainland, but he also saw a day when Druids would once again take their place in Tamriel, for good or ill. The dream is a promise and a warning. Some Druids believe we're destined to bring a green renewal to Tamriel, to teach everyone to live in harmony with nature. Others fear a green scourge, when nature runs amok, and the tyranny of Druids takes hold. I think the dream is a metaphor. Cassarain was reminding us of where we came from. The day he describes will never come, but we should lead our lives as if it's close at hand. Make the right choices. Do the right things. That's how I see it. Hard to say. So much is open to interpretation. I think it warns of a usurper who claims the kingship by force and treachery. It may be related to the end of Cassarain's rule. I found one reference to an all-weather death cult active at that time.
Such vibrant greens, such rich blues. I've never seen colors so resplendent before. How does one capture something as beautiful as this vista? Even with magic enchanting my brush, the challenge feels insurmountable. What aren't I sketching may be a more apt question. Every direction I look is inspiring. Every ray of light a muse, uncovering this land's natural beauty. Once again, you've asked me such a daunting question. Perhaps it's the massive trees that have stood east of Galen for thousands of years. Or maybe the druidic stones with their delicate carvings. Beauties both man-made and natural abound. Wherever my muse takes me, along the riverbed, through the glen, atop the mountains, there are wonders great and small here. Though I certainly wish I brought more parchment.
Can never have enough of that.
The day is upon us. The Dreyfa must crown a new Druid king.
Perhaps. But you have no right to claim the sacred seeds by force.
You hide your seeds and keep the sower of Cassarain's dream for yourself. You declare this war, not the Fire Song.
No Druid king can be crowned until the circles are united. The telling stone is quite clear.
This Dreyfa is a sham. If I must burn away the old to reveal the new, so be it!
She's getting away!
Laurel, wait! I'll go after her. Friend, protect the remaining Archdruids.
Teach these sea snakes a lesson, mate!
Back on your
I'll
feet!
keep Raval and Alex safe!
Thank you, Mainlander. Now, go help Laurel and Stefan.
Go on! I'll keep watch here.